welcome to this episode of WiseManMeant. In this video, we are going to explain 10 Aristotle quotes on happiness. If this video helped you understand these life-changing quotes, please like, subscribe, share, and more important, apply them to your life. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. What is happiness? For many, it is an emotion or a state of being. However, what if happiness is more than a fleeting moment? A lesser explored but equally important concept of happiness revolves around it being an outcome of a man's good deeds. That is, a man who has lived a life filled with virtues and free from evil will be rewarded with a constant state of happiness. If we think of happiness as a fleeting emotion, we'll go through any means necessary to achieve it, even if those means result in chaos and turmoil. On the other hand, if we come to believe that happiness is an eventual outcome of a life well lived and for a man well respected, then the aim of human existence shifts to a more peaceful way of life. Whoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. Our idea of happiness is varied. Some believe it is a state of being with others around you. That is, you feed off of the happiness of those around you. While others believe that true happiness is a state of being with yourself. You can only find happiness, true happiness, if you seek solitude. However, solitude can bring out either the best or the worst in people. Detaching yourself from those around you to find happiness within yourself is difficult for men who have come to believe that the only way they can ever be happy is to feed off of the energy of others. Whether he himself is happy is insignificant. On the other hand, the man who seeks happiness in solitude will be able to achieve a true state of happiness. He will learn that happiness is not sought in others and worldly possessions, but in himself. He will know peace. He will be happy. The man who seeks happiness in others will only have fleeting encounters with happiness. All men seek one goal, success or happiness. We've been taught to live every day as if it were our last. Such is the uncertainty of life. If every day is to be our last, how are we supposed to make the most out of it? People will answer this in a number of ways. Some men will panic and seek whatever material possessions they can, and some will recluse in the fact that all they need in their final moments is to be of good moral standing. That is, to leave this world a better place than they found it. Which of these men will know happiness? Albeit the second man will not know what success is, that too in worldly terms only, but he will know what happiness and peace is. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Worldly possessions are often associated with happiness. That is, money, fame, and thriving economically. However, nothing in this world is considered absolute and final. Money comes and goes, often shifting more towards one side than the other. Fame is temporary and subjective. The economy will never follow your will. If we attach happiness with things and possessions that are only temporary, we will allow ourselves to believe that happiness too is temporary. However, a man with no money can still find it in himself to be happy. How? A poor man is not deprived of happiness. Rather, he seeks to find joy in himself, by himself, and for himself. Happiness is not an outcome of possessions. It is an outcome of ourselves and our efforts to achieve it. Happiness is a quality of the soul, not a function of one's material circumstances. You have something in your hands today. You have money, you have adoration, and you have external goods that the world envies you for. Within the blink of an eye, your hands are now empty. Goods are temporary, and therefore so are the emotions that we attach to them. Men who associate emotions with possessions will never know what true happiness is. Why? Because they're in a constant state of struggle to achieve more. They will never know peace. And if you do not know peace, how will you know true happiness? Happiness is associated with the soul, with the hand that holds the possessions and not the possessions themselves. The soul is what stays with you for the rest of your life. It is your morality. If we associate happiness as a character of the soul, that is, an eventual outcome of a life well lived, we will know true happiness. True happiness flows from the possession of wisdom and virtue, and not from the possession of external goods. The notion that happiness is an outcome of possessions, a man who has more to his name will be happier, is a misguided, sad, but often accepted one. Men seem to believe that happiness is an outcome of what they have to their name, rather than who they are behind their name. If we attach ourselves to our material goods, our money, we become accustomed to thinking that this is and will ever be what happiness is. However, materials can be lost. What then? Should a man without any external goods not feel any semblance of happiness? We need to redefine the word happiness, because it is not achieved with possessions, but rather with ourselves, our wisdom, virtue, and character. Those things stay forever. Happiness is the settling of the soul into its most appropriate spot. Happiness is defined in different ways by different people. However, if we were to define it as an outcome of a life well lived, we'll redirect our goals to become kinder, more empathetic and virtuous people. Our soul is never still. It's a representation of our mind. That is, if our mind wanders, so will our soul. The only way to know peace, or the appropriate spot, is to know that you are doing what you were sent to do. You are of service to those around you, and that you are living a life of high moral character. Men who live in service to the greater good are remembered. Men with money and power are forgotten once the money is wasted and the power dwindles. Happiness is activity. Happiness comes to those who put in the effort to seek it. You need to work for it to achieve it. What work per se? Happiness requires activity and movement. In order to achieve a state of bliss, you need to find what fulfills and satisfies your soul. Riches do not satisfy the soul. They are merely distractions that offset men from their true goal, becoming men of high noble character and high moral standing. The activity, therefore, is to be virtuous, to be kind and empathetic. Admittedly, the activity is time-consuming, tiresome, and maybe even difficult, but the outcome is worth it. Different men seek after happiness in different ways and by different means, and so make for themselves different modes of life and forms of government. What does the word happiness mean to you? This seemingly simple question has a number of answers, each more different than the next. What is happiness? For some, it is an emotion. For some it is a way of life, and for some it is an outcome of an action. Men define happiness in a number of ways. Therefore, these men seek happiness in different ways. They form a life for themselves based on their definition of happiness and the way they believe they can achieve it. What is the outcome? Conflicting governments and societies. The activity of happiness must occupy an entire lifetime, for one swallow does not a summer make. Men believe that happiness follows worldly possessions and temporary status. They are accustomed to this belief because happiness, or what they believe it to be, comes often from the energy that they're surrounded with. Let's say a man has all the money in the world. This man will undoubtedly have several friends. The friends are a byproduct of his materials, and the man will feed off of their happiness to achieve his own. But money is temporary. What then? Do men without money not deserve happiness? The truth is, happiness is never the outcome of a single thing, action or goods. It is the outcome of an entire lifetime spent making oneself into a better man. That is true, lasting happiness. We hope you have enjoyed and learned from this episode of WiseManMeant. If so, please leave in the comments below which quote explanation you liked most. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified when we release a new episode.